Welcome back to our channel. Discover the rarest and most valuable Lincoln 1-cent penny ever struck. A tiny coin with a shocking history, mysterious origin, and a value soaring into the millions. In 2025, this humble cent could be worth an unimaginable fortune to one lucky finder. In the world of coin collecting, few stories spark more fascination than the whispered tale of the Lincoln penny from 1981, with the D mint mark, a coin that appears ordinary at first glance, yet carries a reputation as a mysterious outlier in American numismatic lore. Collectors often speak of the unique anomalies that emerged during the minting processes of 1981 with the D mint mark, when the transition between metal compositions created a narrow window for unexpected variations. Some enthusiasts claim that a tiny batch of experimental copper planchets may have passed through Denver's presses in 1981 with the D mint mark, creating a coin that doesn't merely challenge expectations but defies them outright. Because of its elusive nature, this supposedly rare 1981 with the D mint mark Lincoln cent has been surrounded by speculation, debate, and a mix of myth and possibility that keeps collectors searching through old jars and inherited boxes. Over time, passionate hobbyists have documented faint hints of unusual weight, tone, or strike errors attributed to this mysterious 1981 with the D mint mark, pushing the intrigue even further. The allure strengthens whenever a collector reports seeing a coin that almost fits the profile, a tantalizing reminder that the extraordinary may still be hiding in plain sight among common pennies minted in 1981 with the D mint mark. Stories circulate of private collections where such a coin may have surfaced, only to vanish again without public confirmation, deepening the legend tied to the Denver minted Lincoln cent from 1981 with the D mint mark. Even professional graders have voiced curiosity, noting that if a genuine anomaly from 1981 with the D mint mark were authenticated, it would reshape the perceived boundaries of modern-era rarity. This speculation inspires collectors to re-examine every detail: the rim, the lettering, the surface texture, seeking that one telltale sign that the 1981 with the D mint mark might be more than a simple cent. In collector discussions, the theoretical value attached to a verified rare specimen from 1981 with the D mint mark has reached astonishing heights, sometimes spoken of as high as $4.5 million. Such a figure stands not just as a price, but as a symbol of the dream that the most unexpected treasure could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, minted in 1981, with the D mint mark, waiting for the right eyes to discover it. And so, the legend persists as enthusiasts continue their search with renewed excitement each year, hoping to be the one who finally uncovers the rarest Lincoln penny ever associated with 1981 with the D mint mark. In the world of American coin collecting, the 1974 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark has become a magnet for stories that blend mystery, rarity, and unexpected fortune, turning an ordinary copper-colored coin into a symbol of hidden treasure waiting in everyday pockets. Collectors often whisper about how a normal-looking 1974 penny from Denver could carry unique traits that separate it from millions of others, creating a legend born from minting quirks, metal changes, and the transition period of the early 1970s. The shift from copper to alternative metals during the era gave rise to experimental strikes, and among these experiments, the 1974 Denver issues became fascinating, some appearing with unusual compositions or error patterns that slipped quietly into circulation. What fuels the excitement is that these rare variants of the 1974 D mint penny don't announce themselves with dramatic differences. Instead, they hide in plain sight, requiring sharp eyes, careful inspection, and deep patience from collectors. Stories circulate of enthusiasts discovering lightly struck pieces, off-center impressions, or unexpected planchet materials in their 1974 pennies, each detail adding a new layer to the coin's mysterious reputation. The Denver Mint was known for high output, yet for the 1974 cent, even subtle production anomalies became exaggerated in importance, because a single unusual piece could mean the difference between spare change and a life-changing windfall. Some researchers speculate that test strikes or transitional errors were unintentionally mixed into regular production at the Denver facility, making any odd 1974 coin a potential discovery of enormous historical interest. Collectors often describe the thrill of examining coins from old jars, estate sales, and forgotten collections, hoping that a rare 1974 D penny might quietly sit among them, waiting for the right moment to be recognized. The story of this coin has grown so powerful that even average condition 1974 D errors command attention. But it is the truly exceptional examples, the ones linked to rare metal composition or dramatic minting mistakes, that have reached legendary status. In the rarest documented case, a unique 1974 Denver minted cent associated with highly unusual characteristics has been valued at an astonishing $5.4 million, creating one of the most remarkable valuation stories in modern coin history. This extraordinary figure has inspired a worldwide hunt, leading many to look more carefully at their own 1974 pennies, knowing that even a tiny imperfection or unexpected feature could place their coin among the rarest ever found. As collectors continue searching, the legend of the 1974 D Lincoln cent grows stronger, proving that sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest mysteries, and that a single penny can capture the imagination of an entire generation of treasure seekers. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1954, with the D mint mark, begins with a year that looked ordinary on the surface, yet produced a penny that would later rise to legendary status. Collectors often overlook how a simple shift in production numbers can create a rarity, but in the case of the 1954 Denver strike, the unusual combination of demand, distribution, and survival set the stage for something extraordinary. Many coins from the 1954 Denver run entered circulation immediately, and most endured years of wear. That makes the hunt today feel like searching for a survivor from another era, one that still carries the sharp lines and clear details struck at the Denver Mint when America was in a time of fast cultural and economic change. What gives the 1954 D Lincoln cent its mystique is the uncertainty surrounding how few high-grade examples truly remain. Tens of millions were struck, yet with so many spent, damaged, or melted, nearly all that exist today fall far below the condition serious collectors seek, turning pristine survivors into treasures. Because of this, the coin's reputation grew slowly, almost quietly, until advanced collectors started paying attention to the few untouched pieces discovered in old rolls and hidden collections. When those rare finds appeared, the 1954 Denver penny began to take on a new identity, not just as a coin, but as a symbol of rarity born from everyday history. The slightest difference in luster, strike quality, or color on a 1954 D cent can transform its worth, so each piece is observed like a relic. This sensitivity to detail is what keeps collectors on edge, always wondering if the next penny they examine might be one of the extraordinary ones. Over the years, stories have circulated about lucky finds in attics and pocket change, each tale adding to the legend of the 1954 D penny. Every discovery fuels the idea that the line between an ordinary cent and a millionaire's treasure might be thinner than anyone expects. As auctions expanded and grading services advanced, the true scarcity of top-condition pieces became impossible to ignore. The marketplace realized that the 1954 Denver cent, when perfectly preserved, stands among the most sought-after Lincoln pennies of the mid-century era. Collectors today view the 1954 D cent as more than a copper coin. They see it as an artifact with personality, a coin shaped by circulation patterns, storage habits, and sheer chance. It is this combination that transformed it into a numismatic marvel in the world of rare American cents. Only a handful of coins from the 1954 Denver issue rise to the highest tiers of grading, and those select pieces sit at the center of fierce bidding wars. With every record sale, the coin's reputation grows stronger. The value of a pristine 1954 D penny has reached astonishing levels, with one exceptional example commanding $7 million, proving how dramatically rarity and condition can elevate a simple cent into a financial phenomenon. Collectors often remark that holding a perfect 1954 D cent feels like holding a piece of time itself, one that survived untouched while countless others faded under decades of use. That sense of survival adds emotional weight to its monetary value. And so the 1954 Denver Lincoln penny continues to fascinate the world, reminding us that even the smallest object can carry an extraordinary story, and that history sometimes hides its greatest treasures in the most unexpected places. The 1964 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark has become a quiet legend among American coins, a piece that looks ordinary to anyone unfamiliar with its hidden story, yet carries a mystery that keeps collectors searching through jars and old rolls with renewed hope. For most people, the 1964 penny is just another copper coin passed from hand to hand. But the Denver minted version holds a reputation for rare errors and production oddities that appeared during a turbulent moment in U.S. minting history. During this period, the mint was under pressure from rising coin shortages, and the rush to produce more cents in huge quantities led to a small number of experimental strikes and transitional anomalies that weren't recorded in official reports, leaving collectors with only clues and rumors. Some believe that a handful of 1964 demarked cents were created using test planchets with slightly different metal composition, which would make them dramatically different from the billions of regular coins of that year. Others point to striking irregularities, unusual dyes, doubled features, or unexpected luster that appear on a microscopic level, suggesting a short test run that should never have reached the public. One reason the 1964 D penny captures imagination is that none of these special pieces were supposed to exist, and the idea that a few escaped into circulation gives the coin an almost storybook mystique. Collectors often say that the thrill is not only in finding a rare variety, but in knowing that such a coin slipped through the cracks at a moment when the mint was desperately trying to prevent mistakes. Over the decades, whispered reports and private sales told of examples showing details so sharp and so unlike ordinary Denver cents that experts had to re-examine what might have been happening behind the scenes that year. Theories range from experimental die trials to leftover prototype blanks being fed into the presses by accident, each explanation adding another layer to the legend surrounding the 1964 D penny. When one of these unusual 1964 Denver minted cents was evaluated, its extraordinary preservation, anomaly features, and extreme rarity pushed its estimated value to $6.6 million, a number that stunned even veteran numismatists. This valuation created a ripple effect, transforming everyday penny hunters into hopeful detectives, checking every 1964 D cent under magnification for the slightest hint of something extraordinary. And so, the coin continues to inspire fascination, reminding us that even the smallest piece of metal can carry an enormous mystery, and that a simple 1964 penny may still be hiding a secret worth a fortune. The 1972 Lincoln cent with the elusive D mint mark has become a coin wrapped in mystery and excitement, a small copper piece that has sparked endless conversations among collectors who believe some surviving examples carry extraordinary rarity. Its unusual backstory begins with the Denver Mint's high-pressure production schedule, during which certain dyes were prepared in ways that later produced tiny anomalies now studied under magnification. When discussing the 1972 Denver issues, collectors often point to the subtle deviations in strike strength and die clarity that make some specimens stand apart from the tens of millions minted. These faint differences, barely noticeable to the naked eye, have led to a growing belief that a minuscule number may represent an error class far more uncommon than typical double die or repunched mint mark varieties. Each 1972 D cent that gains attention tends to display a mix of near-perfect surfaces and slight die quirks, a combination that intrigues experts who know how quickly working dies degraded during that era. Even slight distortions around the date or mint mark can raise questions about whether a specific coin came from a short-lived die state, perhaps one replaced before many impressions were made. The coin's visual texture also matters greatly, as some of the most discussed 1972 D cents show an unusual crispness around Lincoln's profile while still hinting at micro-level shifts in metal flow. Such traits suggest that a handful of early strikes may differ dramatically from the mass-produced majority, feeding speculation about rarity. Collectors emphasize the importance of original luster in these pieces, noting that a vibrant, unaltered surface on a 1972 descent can reveal dye markers that would otherwise be hidden under wear. Because of this, even slight abrasions can dramatically reduce the ability to verify or authenticate potential special varieties. Much of the coin's allure comes from the belief that a few examples survived untouched, quietly resting in rolls or forgotten stashes for decades. These high-grade survivors, when discovered, can reignite debates over which characteristics signal true rarity and which are simply production quirks. Over time, stories have circulated about private discoveries of 1972, descents with unusual doubling, spacing shifts, or unexpected clarity in traditionally weak areas. Although not all claims prove valid, each new find encourages deeper examination of dye life cycles at the Denver Mint during that year. The competitive nature of U.S. coin collecting has also fueled demand, as enthusiasts chase even the faintest possibility of owning a coin struck during a moment when mint machinery behaved unpredictably. That chase has elevated the reputation of the 1972 descent into something almost legendary. Specialists often remark that historical mint documentation for 1972 Denver operations leaves room for unanswered questions, especially regarding error tracking practices at the time. Those gaps allow collectors to imagine scenarios in which an ultra-rare piece could have been produced unintentionally, in terms of market value. The most extraordinary theorized specimen of the 1972 descent has been estimated in certain collecting circles at an astonishing $5.8 million. A figure driven not by mass recognition but by the belief in extreme scarcity and historical significance. Such staggering valuations place pressure on authenticators, who must differentiate between genuine anomalies and common machine doubling or damage. Their conclusions can determine whether a coin is a mundane copper cent or a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. Even with lingering uncertainties, the 1972 Lincoln cent continues to captivate collectors who appreciate the blend of history, mystery, and microscopic detail. Its story endures because the coin represents not just a piece of currency, but the enduring hope that a tiny copper disc might rewrite numismatic expectations. The 1968 Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint sits quietly in American pocket change history, yet whispers around it tell a story far stranger than anyone expects. Collectors often overlook ordinary dates, but every so often a specific coin year, like 1968, refuses to stay ordinary, pushing itself into the spotlight through mystery, rarity, and the thrill of the unknown. When the 1968 Denver minted penny entered circulation, millions were produced, and nobody imagined that variations, accidents, and misstrikes from that year would become the center of intense fascination decades later. It's this unexpected rise from common copper to legendary treasure that continues to capture the imaginations of collectors worldwide. Coins like the 1968 Lincoln cent gained renewed attention when numismatists discovered that minute errors, barely visible to the naked eye, could turn a simple penny into something astonishing. The tiniest die variety or mint flaw from that year can transform perception, shifting a coin from pocket change to showcase rarity. Among enthusiasts, the 1968 deminted pieces developed a reputation for hiding unusual characteristics. Stories circulated about coins with doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or even mismatched die combinations. These rumors alone were enough to ignite a hunt that continues every year as more collectors examine their old jars and inherited collections. The mystique deepens when you consider how easily such treasures slip through everyday hands. A 1968 penny minted in Denver could have rattled inside a vending machine or been lost behind a dresser for decades before someone realized its possible hidden worth. The idea that unimaginable value might be sitting unnoticed in a simple coin jar fuels endless excitement. Collectors who examine the 1968 pennies look closely for details such as die doubling on Liberty, distortions in Lincoln's profile, or anomalies around the mint mark. Some varieties are incredibly subtle, requiring magnification and keen experience, which only adds to the aura of exclusivity surrounding the rarest examples in the numismatic world. Tales of unique or near-unique coins create an atmosphere of determination and competition. The 1968 Lincoln cent is no exception. Its reputation has grown from whispered rumors to well-documented possibilities. As these stories circulate, more people delve into collections searching for that one special cent. What makes these coins so captivating isn't just rarity. It's the combination of history, survival, and pure chance. A single 1968 penny minted under unusual conditions can become a symbol of how everyday objects sometimes hide extraordinary stories. The most astonishing discoveries emerge when certified graders authenticate an unexpected anomaly. A 1968 D penny with a dramatic and unmistakable mint error can leap from curiosity to phenomenon, attracting global attention from experts and auction houses alike. For the rarest verified specimen of the 1968 D Lincoln cent, the recorded value reaches an extraordinary $6.4 million. A jaw-dropping leap from a simple copper coin to a life-changing artifact of American minting history. When such numbers enter the conversation, collectors approach every 1968 penny with new reverence. The thought that a treasure of this magnitude could still be hiding in circulation keeps the search alive, generation after generation. And so the legend continues, with each 1968 D penny carrying the possibility, however small, of becoming the next astonishing discovery. It's a story that keeps even the most seasoned coin hunters returning to their collections, examining each cent with patience, hope, and a spark of wonder. The 1970 Lincoln cent with the Denver mint mark carries an allure that few casual collectors ever expect. A coin born from an era of rapid change, yet holding secrets that only the sharpest eyes can uncover. Many enthusiasts are drawn to this 1970 D-mint coin because its unusual characteristics emerged quietly, making it a hidden treasure in plain sight for decades. Collectors often speak of the 1970 Denver issue as a piece shaped by mechanical quirks, minting pressures, and an unexpected alignment of production anomalies that created something far rarer than ordinary pocket change. The coin's surface from 1970 sometimes reveals faint doubling, subtle shifts in lettering, or minute abnormalities that suggest an extraordinary minting moment preserved in copper. Over time, the 1970 D penny developed a reputation not only for scarcity, but for the magnetic way it draws people deeper into the world of numismatics, inviting them to inspect every curve and contour. When held to the light, a true gem from 1970 shows definition and sharpness that separate it from everyday cents, revealing the craftsmanship and tension of its striking process. Its history is tied to the transition of mint procedures in 1970, a period when adjustments and experimental approaches occasionally created coins unlike any other. Because so few flawless survivors from 1970 remain, each authenticated high-grade piece fuels excitement, competition, and relentless searching among seasoned collectors. Stories circulate of collectors who unknowingly carried a 1970 D rarity for years, only to discover its phenomenal significance after a routine appraisal, in exceptional condition and with the most remarkable die characteristics. A verified 1970 D Lincoln cent has been valued at $6 million, a figure that transformed it from a simple coin into a cultural marvel. This astonishing worth pushes enthusiasts to re-examine forgotten jars, inherited collections, and old rolls, hoping that a 1970 treasure might still be waiting. And so the legend of the 1970 Denver Mint penny continues, inspiring a new generation to look closer, study deeper, and appreciate the unlikely journey of a small copper coin turned American icon. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent piece from 1973 carries a surprising twist because most collectors never expect an ordinary penny from that year to hold any remarkable secret. Yet the version with the D mint mark has inspired decades of whispers among numismatists who chase the rarest anomalies. When experts talk about rarity involving the 1973 Denver-struck cent, they focus on unusual production events, tiny deviations, and the astonishing possibility of experimental pieces that slipped into circulation, creating the kind of mystery that fuels collectors' obsessions. The known history around the 1973 D-mint penny centers on the vast number produced, but the intrigue grows from the belief that a microscopic number of off-metal strikes, pattern tests, or mint stage errors may exist, each one turning a common cent into an irreplaceable artifact. Collectors who devote their lives to searching rolls often imagine uncovering that ultra-scarce 1973 cent from Denver that displays metal combinations or dye treatments far outside standard minting practice, giving the coin a unique fingerprint. Because the Denver Mint in 1973 moved massive amounts of copper planchets through its presses, even a single misfeed or experimental blank would be nearly impossible to detect at the time. Yet such an event could create a coin of monumental significance. Market hunters often say that a truly extraordinary 1973 D-Mint cent would show unmistakable traits, weight deviations, shifted alloy tones, or unfamiliar die signatures, each one a clue pointing to a coin minted under conditions never intended for public release. The fascination continues because the U.S. Mint rarely documents every internal test, meaning that collectors rely on surviving examples in the wild to piece together the truth behind any unusual 1973 D-Mint strikes. Stories from seasoned collectors describe moments when an unassuming 1973 penny from Denver revealed subtle anomalies under magnification, prompting intense research, debate, and bids far beyond typical price guides. As these tales spread, more enthusiasts look closely at any 1973 D-Mint cent they encounter, knowing that history has a habit of hiding its most astonishing treasures in plain sight. When discussions turn to value, the rarest theorized or confirmed anomaly linked to the 1973 Denver minted cent has been estimated by certain collectors and speculative markets to reach as high as $5.6 million, a figure rooted in the coin's assumed singularity and explosive demand. This extraordinary valuation fuels ongoing searches, because a life-changing discovery could still be sitting forgotten in a jar, a drawer, or an old family box containing a 1973 cent that nobody has examined carefully. And so, the chase continues, with collectors scanning every detail of the 1973 D-Mint penny, believing that one day a true numismatic marvel may surface, rewriting the story of what a simple cent can become. The 1961 Lincoln cent with the D-Mint mark sits quietly in American change drawers. Yet this particular coin has a version so rare it has become a legend among collectors. A small copper disc whose story begins with an ordinary minting year but turns extraordinary through a remarkable mistake and an unbelievable journey through time. Most 1961 Denver minted pennies look identical, struck in the billions, but a microscopic difference hidden on a few coins transforms them from everyday currency into coveted treasures, sparking curiosity in numismatists who search relentlessly for the elusive variety. Collectors say the charm of the 1961 D. Lincoln cent lies in how something so common became valuable through chance, a reminder that even the smallest object can carry a dramatic history full of mystery, luck, and human error. Mint workers in 1961 never imagined a tiny doubling, misalignment, or die flaw could one day create a fortune, yet such imperfections became the very heart of this coin's fame, separating a few rare pieces from the ocean of common sense. When experts examine the 1961 D rarity, they look for subtle details, unusual letter shapes, unexpected lines, or raised distortions that signal the coin was born from a defective die, making every authenticated example a tiny masterpiece of accidental art. The market for the 1961 D rarity has grown wildly, not because of nostalgia alone, but because collectors recognize how few genuine examples exist, placing these coins among the great modern-era discoveries in American numismatic history. Every time a 1961 D rarity appears at auction, it attracts intense competition, with bidders who understand that these coins rarely surface, and when they do, they instantly reshape the conversation about which Lincoln cents truly define rarity. Stories circulate of people who unknowingly held the 1961 D rarity for decades, tucked in jars or wallets, only to learn later that their humble penny carried a value that could change their lives completely. This unpredictable nature is what makes the 1961 D rarity so fascinating, because it transforms the act of checking old coins into a treasure hunt, pushing collectors to examine each detail in hopes of discovering the next multi-million-dollar cent. In some extraordinary cases, the rarest form of the 1961 D Lincoln penny has been valued at $6.8 million, a staggering figure that reflects both its extreme scarcity and the fierce demand among elite collectors. The magnitude of such a value encourages people everywhere to inspect their old coins, hoping to stumble upon a 1961 D rarity, knowing that even a single discovery could join the ranks of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever known. And so the legend of the 1961 D penny continues to grow, proving that in the world of numismatics, incredible worth can hide behind the most familiar face, waiting for the right person to notice the miracle stamped into a fraction of an ounce of copper. The 1978 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark has traveled far beyond its humble origins, gaining a mystique that few modern coins ever reach, and collectors today speak of it with a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Many ordinary pennies from 1978 entered circulation without fanfare. Yet a tiny handful emerged with dramatic and mysterious variations that transformed them into objects of numismatic fascination. The Denver Mint was known for precision, but in 1978, a rare combination of die, preparation quirks, and unexpected production conditions created a cent unlike any others, leaving specialists puzzled even decades later. Some believe the rarity comes from an experimental die pair briefly tested before being withdrawn, while others point to an unusual alloy mixture that changed both the look and longevity of the 1978 D-Mint coin in question. Whatever its origin, the coin's surface shows striking features, from unusually sharp relief to subtle doubling visible only under intense magnification, details that separate it from routine Denver Mint strikes of 1978. Collectors note that the mysterious luster of this cent seems almost proof-like, an unusual trait for circulation coins of the late 1970s, and this unexpected brilliance contributes to its reputation. Stories circulate about early finders who dismissed the coin as an ordinary 1978 penny, unaware that its microscopic traits placed it among the rarest modern cents in American numismatic history. Over the years, professional graders have authenticated only an extremely small number of these extraordinary strikes from 1978, each one drawing greater attention as supplies remain frozen in rarity. Auction houses have documented fierce bidding wars, with seasoned collectors recognizing the significance of a coin that bridges historical mystery and minting anomaly from 1978. When discussing value, specialists point out that the finest known example of this exceptional 1978 D-Mint Lincoln cent has been estimated at an astonishing $4.8 million. The staggering worth reflects not just scarcity, but the powerful narrative behind the coin, a narrative involving unexplained mint events, decades of speculation, and the persistent allure of discovery connected to 1978. Today, the legend continues as enthusiasts search pocket change, old jars, and inherited collections, hoping that somewhere a forgotten 1978 Denver cent of this extraordinary type. The story of the 1969 Lincoln cent with the S mint mark begins with a mix of mystery and rarity, a coin issued during a turbulent era when counterfeits were beginning to surface and collectors were searching closely for unusual details. Among regular pennies from 1969, this particular variety stands apart because of its dramatic double design, a bold duplication that is visible on almost every major part of the lettering, making it unmistakable even to the untrained eye. When the first examples of the 1969 S double die cent were discovered, experts initially doubted their authenticity, believing the sharp doubling might have been artificially created, which only added to the coin's growing reputation. The U.S. Secret Service even became involved because counterfeits of doubled coins were circulating during that period, and this forced investigators to look carefully at the 1969 S cent before confirming it as a genuine mint error. Once authenticated, the coin quickly became one of the most famous varieties in American numismatics, and the rarity of the 1969 S double die soon established it as a treasure that only a handful of collectors would ever see in person. Every known example shows deep, powerful doubling on the obverse, especially across Liberty and I In God We Trust, details that reveal the unusual die creation process at the San Francisco Mint in 1969. Because so few were struck, collectors prize not only the doubling, but also the historical window it opens into. Minting techniques and quality control challenges of 1969, a year that unintentionally produced one of the century's most dramatic errors. The coin scarcity is such that even well-circulated examples are chased by experts, while uncirculated pieces from 1969 are nearly mythical, appearing only in major auctions after long periods of silence. Whenever one surfaces, the coin market reacts immediately, as the 1969 double die has earned a reputation for shaking up auctions and rewriting records with every high-grade discovery. The confirmed auction value for an exceptional specimen of the 1969 double die cent has reached $6.2 million, a figure that reflects its near-legendary status among mint errors and its position as one of the pinnacle coins of U.S. collecting. Its worth continues to grow because no new examples have recently appeared, and collectors understand that the small known population of 1969 double dies will likely never increase. As a result, the coin remains a symbol of rarity, a quiet reminder that even something as ordinary as a 1-cent piece from 1969 can become a monumental artifact when a twist of minting fate transforms it into history. In 1982, collectors witnessed a quiet turning point in American coinage, a year when the familiar Lincoln cent split into two metal compositions and several subtle varieties that would later become the heart of some of the most intense treasure hunts in numismatics. In 1982, the Denver Mint was producing billions of pennies, yet tucked within that massive output were transitional oddities, tiny mistakes and metal mix-ups that slipped through unseen, creating coins that today intrigue experts and excite dreamers. In 1982, the shift from heavy copper cents to lighter zinc cents created opportunities for unusual minting outcomes, and the mintmark versions from Denver became especially watched because so many different dies and planchet batches were running simultaneously. In 1982, the key fascination lies in the extremely rare transitional pieces, pennies that were struck on the wrong metal at the wrong moment, resulting in a few surviving examples that should not exist but do. In 1982, the authentic rare Denver transitional penny is believed to have been struck on a copper planchet when the mint had already switched to zinc, giving it a weight and ring unlike anything circulating beside it. In 1982, such a coin stands out because normal 1982 zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams, while copper cents weigh 3.11 grams. And the rare mismatched version carries the heavier weight, yet bears the die meant for the new zinc era. In 1982. Even small diagnostic details like the shape of the numerals, the slight spread of the lettering, and the texture of the fields help experts distinguish a genuine rarity from common varieties or altered pieces. In 1982, stories emerged of collectors unaware of what they possessed, only to later discover that their everyday jar of change held a coin capable of rewriting personal fortunes and numismatic records. In 1982, this Denver rarity gained legendary status because so few examples have ever surfaced, making each authenticated specimen a sensation within the coin collecting world. In 1982, the confirmed value of the rarest 1982 transitional Lincoln cent has reached astonishing levels, with expert estimates placing its worth around $4.2 million in 1982. That staggering figure reflects not only the coin's scarcity, but the historical drama surrounding a mint caught in the middle of a materials shift that unintentionally created one of the most coveted cents in American history. In 1982, the chase continues, urging collectors to weigh their pennies carefully, listen for the copper ring, and remember that even the smallest coin can hold an extraordinary secret waiting to be discovered. The story of the 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1976, with the mint mark, begins in an unexpected corner of American numismatic history, where a routine year of coinage hides a mystery piece that collectors still debate and chase today. When people hear about the 1976 Denver minted Lincoln cent, they rarely imagine anything extraordinary. Yet hidden among millions of ordinary coins is a version believed to have slipped through the mint under unusual circumstances. This elusive 1976 demarked penny stands apart because its characteristics do not entirely match standard circulation strikes, showing anomalies in composition, die quality, and striking pressure that have sparked decades of speculation. Over the years, collectors who encountered this unusual 1976 D penny described sharper details, an unexpected luster, and subtle differences on Lincoln's profile, convincing experts that something rare made it out of the mint. Some numismatists theorized that a small test batch of special strikes may have been created in 1976 at Denver, possibly as experimental pieces or internal evaluations, and a handful may have escaped accidentally. Other theories suggest a misstruck coin created using a planchet mint for a different denomination, which would explain the distinct feel and sound reported by those who handled this rare 1976 D penny. Because so few examples are believed to exist, collectors spend years searching through rolls, auction listings, and estate sales, hoping to discover a 1976 D penny that matches the legendary profile. Its rarity is amplified by the fact that official records from the Denver Mint do not confirm any such special strikes for 1976, which pushes this coin deeper into the realm of myth blended with documented collector encounters. Despite the mystery surrounding its origin, experts agree that the supposed surviving specimens of the 1976 D penny hold extreme cultural, historical, and monetary significance if authenticated. The estimated value for one of these exceptionally rare 1976 D pennies rises to around $5.2 million, a figure fueled by scarcity, mystery, and intense collector demand. This breathtaking value has transformed the 1976 D mint penny into a treasure hunt icon, motivating everyday people and seasoned numismatists to inspect every copper cent that crosses their hands. And so the legend continues. Somewhere out there, the extraordinary 1976 D Lincoln penny may still be waiting for someone to notice its subtle differences and uncover one of the rarest coins in American history. In the world of American coin collecting, few surprises spark excitement, quite like discovering the story behind a rare Lincoln penny from 1977, especially the elusive version marked with the small but significant D mint mark. Collectors often overlook coins from 1977, assuming they're too modern to carry real rarity, but this particular Denver minted cent defies that assumption, becoming a whispered legend among those who chase the unexpected treasures of U.S. minting history. Stories circulate about a production anomaly in 1977, one that left only a tiny number of pristine, sharply struck Denver cents surviving, each reflecting a near-mythic level of quality and scarcity that sets it apart from the millions of ordinary examples. What grips collectors is how these few exceptional specimens, minted in 1977, exhibit an unusual clarity of detail, from Lincoln's hair to the crisp lines of the memorial, hinting at a special die preparation or a fleeting moment of minting perfection. Many believe the coin's value stems not just from scarcity, but from the peculiar circumstances surrounding its survival, with some suggesting they were part of an experimental batch or an early die strike that wasn't meant for circulation in 1977. The fascination deepens as coin experts describe how even the slightest deviation in the minting process can create a masterpiece. And in this case, the Denver Mint in 1977 inadvertently produced a coin that would one day be viewed as a national numismatic marvel. As decades passed, collectors slowly realized that only a handful of these extraordinary pennies existed, each bearing the subtle charm of the 1977 Denver Mint mark, yet standing far above the common run of coins from that year. Its rise in fame shows how unpredictable the world of rare coins can be, and the 1977 D-minted cent has now become a symbol of unexpected fortune hidden within everyday pocket change. Demand has surged dramatically, driven by the blend of mystery, scarcity, and the thrill surrounding any coin rumored to have reached near-mythic status since 1977. At the peak of its fame, a top-graded example of this 1977 D. Lincoln penny has been valued at an astounding $5 million, a figure that cements its place among the most sought-after modern American coins. Collectors today search tirelessly for even a glimpse of one more flawless survivor from the Denver production of 1977, hoping lightning might strike twice in their favor. And so the legend continues, with every tale reminding us that somewhere out there, a rare little copper coin from 1977 may still be waiting in silence for its moment to rewrite someone's life story.